Research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. Eyes see what the mind knows. Science holds our lives together. We do so many things in our day-to-day life, not realizing that all of it is based on science. From sunrise in the morning till we retire at night. If the spark of scientific temper is ignited, then we will be able to see science everywhere. The toothpaste which we use in the morning is basic, neutralizing the acid in our mouth. At the breakfast table, waiting for our idli, we would have thought, what made the idli batter double? What made it so fluffy and porous? Have you ever realized, while buying a bathroom cleaner, the amount of strong acid you have purchased? Have you ever thought why the mangoes are pickled? Doesn't the beautiful arc of rainbow tinker your mind? Did the mystery of the starry sky haunt you? Every student has the innate curiosity to know things. Phenomenon of nature changes around us and changes in the environment. This curiosity can only be quenched by the study of science. The leisure in the lockdown gave us the time to analyze it all. And here we are. The students of Srimati Sulochana Devi Singhania School, under the guidance of their teachers, have performed experiments and demonstrations showcasing their talent in the fields of physics, chemistry, biology, psychology, home science, and many more. So here, we present before you Anweshan, the online science exhibition, an exhibition which shows the amalgamation of simple ideas, scientific temper, and innovative thinking done with the help of household materials. We start with the experiments of the senior-most students of the school, the IC and IB.
Good afternoon to all. Today, I, Tanisha Kanetkar,
and I, Sahaj Arora,
will take you through this virtual tour of Anweshan, the online science exhibition. Today, garbage has become one of the greatest threats to our environment and us. A study says that the world generates 3.5 million tons of waste every single day.
changes call for innovation, and innovation leads to progress. With this same thought in mind, our own student, Tanay Parekh, has come up with an amazing project which will make garbage collection easier.
The automation industry in India has shot up in the last decade and has been an ever-developing industry since then. To make automation reach the menial workforce where today the garbage cleaners pick up the dustbins full of germs, insects and garbage which we can't even think of touching and empty them into the garbage truck. I would like to put forward my project of automizing this process by using a robo which follows a path to a dustbin and picks up waste from it without any manpower required. Being a prototype, this is just a smaller version of the original robo. So what is the exact mechanism behind the working of this robo? The NXT. This is the brain of the entire robo. The NXT stores the program on which the robo runs and gives out commands to each part of the robo according to the program. Next is the motor. This is a servo motor. We use two motors for the movement of the robo, from its start position to the dustbin and back to its end point. The third motor that we use is for the grabbing mechanism. The grabber picks up the dustbin, empties it, and puts it back to its original position. The third part of the robo are the sensors. We use two color sensors to help the robo follow a line which takes it to the dustbin. So this is just a way to prevent any kind of error in the movement of the robo. For example, if one motor heats up and runs slower than the other one, the color sensor helps the robo to correct itself back on path.
I wish I could fly high like a bird.
But have you ever wondered about the science of aerodynamics?
I would love to know.
Let's see the next experiment, which demonstrates flying mechanism in simple terms.
Today, my classmate and I will be taking you through some basic concepts of physics that helps bird fly.
You must have seen such a shape in an airplane's wings too. Such a shape is called an airfoil. The air above the airfoil moves at a higher speed due to a low pressure area, while the air beneath moves slowly due to a higher pressure area. Because the air pushing the wings is less on the wing than the air in the bottom, the wing gets pushed upward. This upward push is called lift and is the main reason why birds are able to fly. They rotate their wings forward and down and then lift them back up to start the same process again. Rotating the wing forward causes lift from the air not only to move them in an upward direction but also to move forward. The forward push is called thrust. All these forces together helps a bird fly. Also, birds possess an excellent aerodynamically stable shape, which means that their body is shaped to cut through the air.
Now that you know the physics behind flight, I would like to focus more on how exactly a bird flies. Now there are many factors upon which it depends, such as their hollow bones, their light bodies, and even the adaptations that they have. I would like to talk about two muscles in their wings, known as one, the pectoralis. It is the largest muscle in the wing and it helps in the depression and the protonation of the wing, aka the upward and downward movement of the wings. And the second one, the supracoracoideus, which helps in the accelerating and the decelerating of the speed of the wings. These two muscles are known as the motor which drives them. To put that into visual representation, here you can see the pectoralis major and the supracoracoideus. As I said before, they form the engines or the motor of avian flight. When the pectoral muscles contract, they pull the humerus bone in each wing down, creating thrust and lift. In immediate response, the supracoracoideus connected to the top of the humerus works like a pulley and lifts the wing every time the muscle contracts. Also, you can observe that all the muscles are below the wing, which creates a compact center of gravity, giving them more stability when they fly.
Do you know, Sej? Now we can overcome exam blues. Now there seems to be a solution.
Really? How?
Neuro-linguistic programming has come to our rescue.
Would you be brave enough to create your biology from the point of the future? You can do so by the process of NLP. NLP in full form means Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It involves two interdisciplinary components, which is psychology and biology. Psychology includes thoughts and emotions. Biology includes brain and the nervous system, focusing on neurological systems. NLP can be called a set of presuppositions about the world that will allow us to look into it in a different manner. After all, it is our own choice and our own perspective. Because perspectives matter. It's upon us whether we see the glass half full or half empty. I'll be talking about the 6-step reframing process relating to the mind and the body. Now imagine there is a window in front of you and there are frames in front of it. You zoom in into a particular one, but it all matters which one do you see. Therefore, changing the perspective is all it takes. Welcome to reframing. Now let us assume that I am a procrastinating student who does not know how to meet deadlines. You can look at my posture and understand and observe that I do not know what I'm doing and I'm stressing about something very important. Taking a deep breath and being aware of my posture is the first key because I make my mind aware and put myself in a positive frame. There is always a pain point in some part of the body. This leads to muscle memory and physical remembrance of the pain. Therefore, being aware of the spot helps us understand and adjust our posture. Being aware puts us in the right mind frame and helps us work better. In this case, a procrastinating student is able to turn into an efficient student and work much better just because of the physical rearrangement. This helps us all reframe our body, that is changing the perspective and tricking the mind into believing that something better is happening. This also helps us eliminate bad habits. This has been a continuous trait in many successful people in the world. Therefore, perspectives matter and working efficiently is the key. This was the process of reframing.
Acids are always considered to be dangerous. But have we ever realized how much acid we use in a day?
In daily activities at our home, so many strong acids and bases are used, and we never really knew.
The next experiment demonstrates the acid-base reaction taking place inside our body with the help of substances used at home.
In our experiment, we aim to demonstrate the various color changes that the natural indicator anthocyanin shows when mixed in solutions of various pH values.
Anthocyanins are the violet-purple pigments occurring naturally in grapes, currants, red cabbages, raspberries and blueberries and anything else which may be red, blue, purple or black in color. For our experiment, we decided to boil rose petals to extract this pigment. This process took about 10 minutes. The filtrate containing the indicator was then added to toilet cleaner, an acidic solution, which gave a resultant reddish-purple color. When the same indicator was added to washing powder, a strong base, a greenish-yellow color was obtained. On repeating the process with solutions of various pH values, this is the color spectrum that we obtained, arranged from the most acidic solution on the left to the most basic solution on the right. To demonstrate the working of an antacid, we have used the toilet cleaner to represent the excess acidity in our stomach and baking soda to represent the antacid that we ingest in such a case. To give an example, when we eat excessively spicy foods, acidity occurs as there is an excess secretion of acids in the gastric glands of the stomach. This causes an uneasy feeling, which we cure by taking antacids. Antacids are alkaline in nature and work by counteracting the acid in your stomach, resulting in a neutralization reaction. As we can see in the experiment, on mixing the acidic and basic solutions together, we obtained a resultant purple mixture. The purple color shown due to the natural indicator anthocyanin proves that the resultant mixture is neutral in nature.
Mental health is quite neglected in India.
Yes, there is a stigma attached to visiting.
The next presentation will help us understand the genuine facts about psychology.
Psychology isn't a real science, it's just common sense.
Psychology is very much a science, a social science. It is the scientific investigation of human behavior and includes observation, analysis, inquiry, research, drawing predictions and conclusions.
Mental disorders are weak-minded. They have character dents and personality flaws. They could snap out of it if they tried hard enough.
Mental health problems have nothing to do with being lazy or weak or something that one can just snap out of like that. Only and only a certified mental health professional can provide an accurate diagnosis of a given disorder and treat a patient accordingly. It is high time that we stop exhibiting our own ignorance and lack of understanding about the subject. Stop using emotional and diagnostic labels so casually. Stop the loose talk.
Only crazy mad people go to psychologists. Psychotherapy is just mere talking and giving advice. You tell me your problems and I'll analyze them for you.
It takes years of training for a psychologist to learn and practice how to offer psychological help at a professional level. The people around you may be a huge support system for you, but they are not a substitute for a psychologist. There may be certain concerns that require a focused clinical approach that you won't even realize. These people may not have the skill set to help you, no matter how well-intentioned they may be. Psychotherapy is a well-crafted process and not a one-time event. It very much has goals and outcomes that are clearly defined by a person's life situations and circumstances. Each one of us may be a potential psychological help seeker now or later.
Mental health is a right and a responsibility. It is the time of the hour to acknowledge, accept, and act on this. The subject of psychology, through its rich legacy and scientific research approach, has the potential to help people make their lives and consequently this world a better place. Shun the stigma.
Get real and embrace psychology.
Embrace mental health and well-being for yourselves and for others.
Sage, are you prepared for tomorrow's unit test?
Yes, but I am feeling very low, as my parents blocked my Netflix account yesterday.
Why?
Because I used to binge watch every day, but I don't know what to do. I cannot decide if I should study history or watch my favorite movie.
Yes, that's too tough a choice. This is a common problem these days. We can't decide and we end up procrastinating things.
So how can we come over it?
I think the marshmallow experiment has an answer for us.
Phenomenal psychology experiments in the past have contributed to our understanding of the human behavior, scientifically then and now. One such experiment is the marshmallow experiment, conducted by the psychologist Walter Mischel in the 1960s.
In this experiment, children at the Stanford Wings Nursery School, aged 4 to 6, were placed in a room with a single marshmallow on the table. Each child was told that they could eat the treat, but if they waited for the researcher to return and hadn't eaten it till then they would be given another treat. So, if they waited, they got 2 marshmallows. The children were left alone in the room for as long as 20 minutes. Some of the little ones resisted the temptations, others could not and ate the marshmallow. The researcher followed these children into teenage and adulthood to find out that those who waited could delay gratification, had better self-control, regulated themselves better, and had relatively better academic and relationship outcomes and made better life decisions.
What marshmallows are to these preschoolers, gadgets are to us. The Harvard Business Review says we are constantly interrupted by notifications that tell us some new information has arrived, and we constantly interrupt ourselves to seek out new information. We pull out our phones while we are in the middle of a conversation. We scan our feeds when we just checked them a minute ago. We eat the marshmallow, and the task at hand is compromised. Willpower and self-control help take future consequences into account while making important decisions. They are teachable and learnable for all. Dr. Walter Mischel validates this discovery with his 50 years of research in this area.
Remember the 3 W's: wait, willpower, win.
Have you studied Newton's laws?
Yes, I used to think that everything around us works on his principles.
Have you heard anything contrary to this?
No, but after the next experiment, you will understand what I am trying to tell you.
Alright, so this is a cornstarch solution. It is a non-Newtonian fluid. It is made by 2 parts of cornstarch and 1 part of water. If I run my fingers through it, it acts as a liquid. If I push it down like this, it will flow due to gravity. But on the other hand, it acts as a solid too. If I apply pressure and try to break it, you can see there are cracks formed. And if I use it as a dough and apply pressure from all sides, it acts as clay. As you can see, it becomes a ball. And when I release the pressure, it becomes a liquid again. So this is a property of semi-liquid and a non-Newtonian fluid.
Non-Newtonian fluids are semi-fluids that do not obey the Newton's law of viscosity. Viscosity is described as the resistance of a fluid to its flow. Water has a lower viscosity and hence it flows easily. Honey, on the other hand, has a higher viscosity and flows slower. But if you warm honey up, its viscosity decreases and it flows more easily. Most fluids are like water and honey in that their viscosity is dependent upon the temperature. Such fluids are called Newtonian fluids because this phenomena was first observed by Isaac Newton. The cornstarch experiment that you just saw is a demonstration of a non-Newtonian fluid. It's called a non-Newtonian fluid because apart from temperature, its viscosity is also dependent upon the force applied and how fast the object moves through the fluid.
Dad, it's too hot today. I wish I could drink something refreshing.
Would you like a glass of buttermilk, Sej?
I wish I could make it.
Here's your wish come true. Let's see how it's made.
Whoever told you that oil and water don't mix might have not considered the term emulsion. Today, I, Arshay, and Kush are going to demonstrate the science behind making butter. The process is simple. Take a jar full of milk, add in tablespoons of curd to the jar, screw the lid tightly on the jar, and now hold on tight to your jar and shake it with force. An alternative is to mix it. Because these globules are so small and the fat is lighter than water, it floats. This forms a stable suspension, a colloid. The bigger the globules, the slower it moves, and the thicker the milk or the cream. When shaken, the globules membranes smash against each other and break apart like bursting water balloons. The fat then spills out and clumps together with the contents of the other bursted globules, which causes the freed fat to separate from the water. This process continues and two new substances are formed, a solid, which is the butter, and the remaining liquid, which is the buttermilk.
Our Solonians are not just confined to bookish knowledge. We have explored and tried to find science in everything.
Here we are with our student Kavish, who has applied science in real life and has come out with this innovative device.
Hi, I've always believed that technology should be a tool for the mind, something that great things can be done with. But the thing is that modern technology just isn't accessible enough. Not enough people can access it. Enter SignPad. What exactly can this do that this can't? Let me explain to you something called color blindness. There are 3 kinds of color blindness. Now first we have what's called deuteranopia, which is the most common type of color blindness, it's more of a red-green color blindness where you can't really quite see the reds right. Then there's protanopia, and protanopia, it's difficult to look at the red. It makes the reds look more green, and it's less common than deuteranopia. And then finally there's tritanopia, which is the least common of all. In fact, less than 0.1% of the human population has tritanopia. It makes you unable to tell the difference between blues and greens, purples and reds, yellows and pinks. Basically, it's the worst of the trio. But what SignPad does is it does not differentiate. I believe that technology should not differentiate between different kinds of people. Now the SignPad, incredibly for the first time ever, lets people with color blindness, all kinds of color blindness, look at things the way it's meant to be seen. The reds that don't look reds, now suddenly they look natural. The greens which were previously not visible, it's possible to view them the way it's meant to be seen, accessible to more people for the first time ever. Now how exactly does it do this? I mean, technically speaking, if it's really that simple, why didn't the iPad do that like 10 years ago? Now every single piece of technology has a display. Most commonly it's the LED kind of display, and what that means is that there's little LED diodes that light up in different kind of color combinations to trick your eyes into thinking that it's one kind of picture. Now the way this works is that on a software level, it controls the hardware in order to make sure that the color temperatures are way down. Now the typical color temperature that we with normal vision see is at around 6000 Kelvin. But that's not how colorblind people work. They view things at around 2500 to 2000 Kelvin, depending on the kind of color blindness you have. And this brings the LED diodes at that kind of a color temperature. Now, it might seem weird looking to us, but to them, this looks incredible. This fixes everything. Instead of talking about this, I'm going to give you a demo of how this works. Now, the way this works is that now, as you can see, this is a regular tablet where you can do regular tablet stuff. You even can have your whole home folder. You have your internet browser. Basically, everything you expect out of a tablet. Now, where this differs is by the tap of a button, everything changes. So right here, one tap, I give this Deuteranopia. You'll notice the colors are slightly off. I have a better wallpaper over here which really emphasizes this. Now this is how it's meant to be seen, and now with one tap, Deuteranopia, you notice how the reds look green. Now this looks very weird to us, but to them this solves everything. Now they can for the first time ever see reds the way it's meant to be seen. I have other examples too, like right over here with this galaxy wallpaper that really blooms. One tap, boom. What is this? This looks weird to us, but to them it's crazy. The difference is night and day. And the thing is that this is not just limited to Deuteranopia. We can configure this in the settings to go to Protanopia or Tritanopia. It all just works. And all while having a beautiful, easy to use interface that makes it more accessible to them, makes it much easier for them to do stuff. And I think truly with this tablet, great things can be done. Anyways, that was Kavish Krishnakumar with the SignPad for Anweshan. Signing out. Have a good one.